Welcome everybody to today's video here with more Road to BlizzCon action on Khaldor TV. We have Gamers2 going up against Spartanien, and we had some very unorthodox compositions in this series and also a great map. Infernal Shrines is a map that is being talked about a lot. A lot of people say that it's a bit too snowbally. There's a couple of issues with the map that are going to be resolved in the near future as well. But we have it for the first time in competitive play. Don't be worried, by the way, the draft screen shows Battlefield of Eternity, but that was just because it was not available yet to be selected in the draft screen. So we are definitely playing the first game here on Infernal Shrines. It's a map that is a bit snowbally, as already mentioned, so teams oftentimes draft an early game composition when they're trying to scrim here. This is the first time that we are seeing it in a competitive environment, and both of the teams went completely ham when it came to the draft. We had Johanna and also Leoric banned out because both of the heroes are absolutely amazing when it comes to wave clear, and since for the objective on Infernal Shrines you have to take down minions, it's one of the best things that you can do to use Johanna or Leoric. So both of them were banned out immediately, and from there on people expected still a bit of a normal draft, but well, we were far away from that because suddenly Spartanien said, like, you know what, we're gonna draft a triple warrior composition here, and they went into Muradin, Anubarak and Tyrael with a Jaina in the back. Gamers2 looked at that and they realized, well, 2 of the warriors are banned, you guys just took 3, there's not really too much left, so let's pick a Chen. They took the Chen, and not only that, they played with a Zeratul, with an Abathur, and also, on top of all of these things, with a Raynor. Why Raynor? Because he's an amazing tank killer. If you can actually keep him alive, then this guy is doing so much damage against the tank line, and well, as you can already imagine, this game is going to be quite some fun. So, Gamers2 vs Spartanien, the first game in the best of 3 series coming up next here on Infernal Shrines. Alright everybody, welcome to today's Road to BlizzCon. We are starting things off with a very special game. It's the round of 8 and Spartanien is facing Gamers2, and in this game, I mean, that draft already blew us away. Not only are we on Infernal Shrines as the starting map here today, but also we have a Chen and a Raynor in play, we have a triple warrior set up. This is gonna be good. To the left side of the map, we're having Gamers2. They're starting here with Nika on Abathur, Bashek on Zeratul, we have Shihu on Chen, Yuvo on Raynor, and Leo from Poland on Uther. To the right side of the map here on Infernal Shrines, Nomi with Tyrael, Grulum with Anubarak, Glucosa on Rhaegar, Coco on Jaina, and Frieza on Muradin. So this is going to be a really cool one. It's the first time that we are seeing Infernal Shrines in a competitive match. I'm Khaldor, with me is Tetcher, and we're going to bring you the coverage here at the Road to BlizzCon round of 8.
And straight away, we already saw Spartanien trying to raid into the Gamers2 side of the map, trying to catch someone with a Storm Bolt, but weren't able to find anyone in the end.
Since this is the first time that we actually see the map, we have to talk about a few things. You might have realized already that there's no Leoric in play, that we don't see Johanna, and the reason for that is very simple. Both of the heroes were immediately banned out by the teams. To complete the objectives on the map, you have to take down a few minions that are spawned by those shrines that get activated, and of course with the wave clear that Johanna and Leoric have, they are absolute prime candidates for first picks on this map and extremely strong, and this is one of the reasons why the teams try to get rid of them immediately, so that also puts a very nice spin on the entire series here. And you can also tell that we have very interesting first talents, especially on the side of Gamers2.
Yeah, Gamers2 running... Oh, careful Yuva, he does get stunned up here. They're trying to burst him down quickly with the Abathur shield. He is fine, but yeah, those starting talents, a seasoned marksman on the Zeratul and the Raynor here. Both of them are just going for that damage. Uther with that Contra Pursuit instead of that reach, so he's going to have to try and follow in that Zeratul a little bit further if he wants to keep him alive. And Abathur, starting off with the fairly standard pressurized plans.
Especially the draft that we're seeing for Spartanien here has a lot of, like, this serves multiple purposes, what we are seeing here. If you have a Muradin and also that Tyrael and you fight on shrines with Smite and Thunderclap and all these abilities, you can at the same time as you're fighting your opponent take down a lot of these minions, which is going to be amazing for them. And they also have the Anubarak to use Web Blast, aka Cocoon, against Leo's Divine Shield later on, and here we go already for the first Infernal Shrine on the map.
Yeah, and remember, this is winner takes all. You either get those 30 skeletons or you get nothing. Uther getting, Muradin getting dropped low here, gets the stun onto Zeratul, but runs into an Abathur mine and goes down. Yuva's already had to back out, and Bashek coming in behind and takes down the Rhaegar as well. And this is not looking good at all for the side of Spartanien, and they are going to have to back away from this. Nomi may go down though. Eldriz might get some help.
Definitely not the start that they imagined here with the triple warrior setup. They are very tanky, of course, but at the same time they lost the shrine now. Too much damage coming, especially from Bashik, and that mine placement that we saw from Abathur was great. Nomi again in a bit of trouble, and here's the first Punisher already emerging. We have a Mortar Punisher in this case, starting to make his way over, and these beasts are of course very difficult to deal with. It's one of the maps that is very snowbally. Blizzard is currently still having a look at it. They might adjust things in the future, but for now, this is the map that the teams agreed upon, and you can already tell that Grulum is not really friends with this big bad boy there.
Yeah, Grulum getting dropped low, actually getting hit by quite a few of those mortars. Needs to be careful, Bashik just missing. A Singularity Spikes, however, Nomi does get caught by the Punisher stun and does go down. It's going to explode onto Chen, but Chen tanks it with his shield.
Level 6 versus level 4, Spartanien in so much trouble. They have an insane draft here, really crazy front line, but it was not enough to win that first fight, and Shihu on his Chen just completely obliterating there, tanking all the damage. Then Zeratul came in, dished out so much DPS against the heroes, and now they're already hitting level 7, while Spartanien is 2 levels behind. Up at the top lane, Glucosa trying to soak some experience for his team. Very interesting talents that we see here in general. We've been talking about the heroes and the lineup already during the draft, but as you can see here, we have, for example, Underking taken on the side of Anubarak. We're seeing Vampiric Strike for Tyrael, and the teams are fighting again, this time over one of the Bruiser camps.
Shehu, though, just standing in this Bruiser camp, tagging this all with his shield. He's now fighting a Freezer as to jump over the wall. Nomi may go down again. Down he goes to Bashik.
We have 7 kills against 0. And with that talent lead that we see for Gamers2, the Polish team was easily able to steal the camp away. This is completely out of the hands of Spartanien at this point. They're trying to survive, but Gamers2 is just rolling over them in this case. Very normal builds for them, very focused also on single target damage with a focused attack on 2 of their heroes after Seasoned Marksman. We see it for Zeratul and Raynor. Raynor on level 7 went for Revolution Overdrive, as already pointed out by Tetcha earlier. And we're seeing Brewmaster's Balance for the big fat panda here. Shiku trying to use that to soak a bit more damage up at the front line, and again Spartan in trouble, and they still don't have that level 7 talent.
You've getting harassed a little bit here, needs to be careful, but he's still yet to pop his Adrenaline Rush, which will give him 520 healing at this level when he gets below 30% health. So as long as he doesn't get burst that quickly, then he's going to be ready for the next fight, even if he gets engaged upon.
At this point, they need to take this fight. It's level 7 versus level 7 talents. We have a Frost Armor on Jaina to make sure that Zeratul is not going to have an easy time taking her down, and they are jumping in. They need a kill, and they need it now. They go straight for Juve. Reina is their priority target, but Coco is already dead. They're trying to go for Reina once again, but there's Abathur already with a quick head, and the entire Gamers2 setup is rushing down on Freezer, forcing him away from the shrine. The Polish team doing so well here, and Abathur in the meantime is still soaking experience at the bot lane. They're close to level 10 and they're going to hit it any second now.
Yeah, Chen getting stunned up there, but what we saw there is the issue of engaging onto a Raynor when he has his team with him. They could distract a little, and that allowed Rainer's Adrenaline Rush to activate, which meant, well, he didn't die. He was just able to tank all the damage and micro back towards his own towers. Level 10 available, Muradin just jumping away from that Punisher.
Yeah, that Punisher is jumping the gate already, and in this case we're having an arcane version, not the Frost Punisher just yet, but with the level 10 abilities. They're going in again. We have Storm, Earth and Fire taken on the side of the big fat panda, and of course in the case of Raynor, it is the Hyperion. Freezer extremely low, jumps away in the last second. Shiku was already high on his heels, using Abathur as well, who went for the monstrosity. We have Spartanien trying to soak 3 lanes at the same time now, but they are 3 levels behind at this point, 8 kills to 0.
Yeah, this soak is a desperation play here. However, the Punishers aren't hugely tanky, so we're going to just let this one run into towers and let it die here. But soaking those 3 lanes is just desperation, trying to catch up in terms of XP before the next shrine spawns, because if they're not level 10 by the time that next shrine happens, then, well, they're screwed.
Yeah, at this point we have a quick drop. Actually, I like that because it finally gives us a bit of like a minute to breathe and actually talk a bit about what's going on here. That setup that we had for Spartanien was really well thought out in theory, and one of the weaknesses on the side of Gamers2 is that with the Abathur at the beginning of the game, they only have the symbiote in play and they don't really have another additional buddy. But that first fight spiraled so fast out of the control of Spartanien that everything turned against them. They lost heroes, Abathur was soaking extra experience, they lost the first objective, they lost lost the second one now as well, even though they were fighting on the same talents, and they are really threatened here at the top lane, where one of the keeps could soon fall. They have a few heroes who are trying to prevent this, and still Anubarak and Tyrael are soaking the lanes. Tyrael even coming back right now, because they need to make sure that this keep is still staying alive until they finally hit level 10 and have the fighting chance.
Yeah, Raynor was using his Hyperion to help push that, and Shihu just tanking the keep, but he did get stunned out by Muradin, so was knocked out of his shield, so had to back up out.
At the bot lane, we have the Monstrosity in play again. Nika is of course trying to soak more experience with his Abathur. It's one of their plays here that they're trying to push these lanes out, soak experience with Abathur, make sure that they stay ahead and just run with the advantage that they were already able to get here. They take one of the camps, Spartanien that is. We have Shihu still up at the front here, and it's still no heroic abilities for Spartanien. They are gonna reach those soon, and then they might be able to make a bit of a comeback, but they need to make it soon because, well, Gamers2 is about to hit level 13 and will get that extra talent.
There is that level 10 for Spartanien here. We do have the Cocoon, Ancestral Healing, Water Elemental Avatar, and Judgment from them. We're also seeing here this Abathur, the Monstrosity, being used like a hero, like we have seen before, basically just keeping the Abathur hat on it and moving it around so it isn't an extra body in those fights.
Big problem for Spartanien is now that level 13 is ready for Gamers2, and that means Giant Killer for Raynor. And we will see the next Infernal Shrine activated very soon, and there it is, the activation process has started. So therefore, if Spartanien really wants to take this battle, they will have to fight without the level 13 talent, and this is going to be, well, really tricky for them. If they can actually pull that off, that's the big question here. They have the Cocoon that could use, and Spartanien, they have to try, and they will, but that might be the last stand.
It might be indeed. Giant Killer is available for Yuva here, and there's no imposing presence imposing the wills that can be taken yet. There's the Hyperion trying to zone out here and grab those extra skeletons, getting a lot of damage. Freezer though, going into the backline. Grulum joining him, but his stun does not land. Tyrael has already died in the backline. Raynor getting zoned out here. Goes gets Ancestral in time.
Insane healing here, but we have now the Frozen Punisher on the way. He's jumping on Anubarak. Grulum is rushing away, using that Underking to get back to safety. The Punisher is on the move though, and the fort is long gone, so he's going to go straight for that keep in that wall, and they have Tyrael now back in play, but it's still 9 kills against 0, and Gamers2 is just doing such an amazing job here. They're so far ahead, and they are not opening themselves up to any kind of mistakes that Spartanien could exploit to come back into this game.
Yeah, Spartanien doing everything they can. They have their heroics now, but they lost Tyrael so early in that fight that they weren't able to get anything. Once again, Grulum getting rooted this time by the Frozen Punisher. They're going on to a bit. In comes the Judgment from Nomi onto Raynor, but a Divine Shield, and Grulum's so out of position now. Down he goes.
Void Prism used, trapped 3 heroes here. They go for Nomi once again, and he is about to die. He gets another shield in the last second, and they're zoning him off, at least for now. Bashek is still in a situation where he's trying to chase them, but up at the top lane, suddenly Jaina went down as well, as Shihu went deep for the kill, and he's trying to get another one, and he gets it, takes down Muradin, and this is going to bring down the first keep of the game.
Shihu and Nika on that Monstrosity there, diving deep to get those kills there, and it worked really effectively. Chen with the slows and Monstrosity with the damage, which is now in a bit of danger, but Leo is here to heal it up, and the Monstrosity just gonna sliver away here.
Yeah, he's probably going to be able to keep that alive, especially with the rest of the team suddenly moving in. A heal from Leo makes sure that he does not go down, and they're just zoning everybody out thus far. Mid lane, that's where we see Chen already draining some of the ammunition, also using, of course, that Breath of Fire to take the fort down even further. We have level 15.5. They're going to have the level 16 talents really soon. They're trying to go for the Panda, but Storm, Earth, and Fire already activated.
Yeah, trying to microwave here, does lose the blue Panda, but still has 2 left, so he will be fine once he does pop out of that. Just gonna get jump his way away from any kind of danger there.
12 kills against 0, and soon we're going to see Gamers2 with a 2-talent lead against their opponents. They're trying to go for Chen though, and the kill at this point would go a long way. They're trying to take him down, and they jump deep for it, but they're not getting the kill. Instead, it is Coco that gets annihilated. So once again, another kill as Rhaegar drops, and this is level 16 versus level 10 talents now in favor of Gamers2. This is the beginning of the end. I mean, even the Void Prism now used to stop 2 more heroes from escaping, and I don't think there's anything they can do to save those 2.
Down goes Nomi. Grulum is on the other side of the wall, but he runs into Shihu. There is the slow. He does have that pressure point talent to try and prevent the escape. Abathur coming in with the Monstrosity to lock him down. Shihu with the body box, and Grulum Burrow charge to Frida, but the pressure point kick from Shehu, able to lock him down and take him out.
They don't even care about that last shrine anymore, at least it doesn't seem like they do. They go straight for the keep, move back actually, as there's still 3 heroes that are trying to defend it. But it's level 16 versus level 12, 16 kills against 0 in this game. Like, this match could not have gone any worse for Spartanien. And that last Punisher that we're gonna see very soon is most likely gonna finish the game, or at least to keep up at the top lane. Spartanien has no way of contesting this, not with being 2 talents behind.
Yeah, they can't even get there to even get a single skeleton. And I would like to point out just a very nice talent choice here by Raynor, the Executioner talent. Considering one, Chen has that pressure point, he has his Keg Smash, so he has slows there, and Abathur is running the Envenomed Spines, which will pop around Chen or around Zeratul, whoever he's on top of, around the monstrosity, and get even more slows off. So this Executioner gonna allow Raynor to drop so much damage.
Level 13 versus level 16 talents now, and this has to be the stand for Spartanien. They have to try to make a move here, but with the 4 level deficit, I just don't see it happening. Grulum is bursted down so fast, he just barely escapes there the last second, but once again, Gamers2 is on the move, and they are about to take keep number 2. That Arcane Punisher is doing insane damage, and there's also the Hyperion once again moving in, zoning them out. Down goes the keep, and they are trying to drop Muradin, and they do.
Yeah, they get Freezer there, now pushing onto the core. The Punisher seems a bit distracted. There's the Judge. Nope, there is a Void Prism on Tyrael to prevent the Judge, but there it is, onto Raynor. But he's completely surrounded by his friend. The web, the cocoon is used on Uther, but it's only Grulum on him. In the meantime, everyone else is dying in the background. Bashek, Divine Shielded, he will survive. And Chen even popping his Earthstorm Fire so he doesn't even take damage on his real form. That is GG. And game 1 goes over to Gamers2.
21 kills to 0, and Gamers2 with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here at the road to BlizzCon round of 8. Wow, Spartanien got completely wrecked on map number 1. And it was a bit surprising actually to see it happen like this, because normally when you're going into triple warrior composition, you should be able to do a bit more with that first shrine that came up on the map with the first objective. But already at that point they lost several heroes by trying to fight over the objective and suddenly were pushed back. There were several other moments on the map where they had a chance to at least fight on even talents, but Gamers2 played such a good game here. They used Chen exactly the way they needed to. They stole camps away. They had Zeratul jumping into the backline and doing just so much damage. A great game by the Polish team, and they take the lead in the best of 3 series here in the winner bracket of the Road to BlizzCon qualifier number 3. And we are going into game number 2 now, of course. Sky Temple is the map, and this time actually we see both Leoric and Johanna in the game, and both of them end up in the composition of Gamers2. On the other hand, we have a Spartanien here, and Spartanien decided to play another hero. They play ETC. They use a Nuburak together with an ETC, and they also have an Uther that can theoretically go for a Divine Storm, try to combo that with Mosh Pit, then there's a Blizzard from Jaina, so there's a lot of opportunities for Spartanien to actually get the damage in if they get that perfect combo in one of those team fights. That's of course not easy, you have to really sync everything up perfectly, but maybe they can do exactly that. On the side of their opponents, we're having Arthas being played as well, so it's a triple warrior setup that is now being played from Gamers2. So basically, it completely shifts around. In the first game, we had a triple warrior setup for Spartanien, and now it is Gamers2 that plays the triple warrior, and they have in the backline 4 range damage and a Zebo for the poke. Gamers2 is in the lead, so they only need to win 1 more map. Spartanien, they have other plans, but even if Spartanien loses here, they of course have another shot in the losers bracket. But guys, without further ado, let's jump right into game number 2 between Gamers2 and Spartanien. Game number 2, everybody, here at the Road to BlizzCon round of 8 match between Gamers2 and Spartanien. And the first game, well, if you look up getting wrecked in the dictionary, then you're gonna find the replay file attached to it, because that was brutal. Gamers2 took down Spartanien. Spartanien, they want to prove that they are better than that, and they have the chance now. A sick draft once again. On the left side, a triple warrior setup for Gamers2 with Nika on Johanna, Shichu on Arthas, and Juve on Leoric, with Leo from Korea on Rhaegar, and Bashek on Nazeebo. To the right side, on the other hand, we are having ETC being played by Naomi, a smart choice against this many melee heroes. Glucosa on Uther, Gurulum on Zagara, Coco on Jaina, and Frieza playing a Nuburak. I'm Khaldor, with me is Thatcher once again, and we're gonna find out together if Spartanien can actually pull it off and win this second map, or if Gamers2 takes it with a 2-0.
Spartanien attempting to be sneaky, but they don't really find anyone. They're trying to find someone who's out of position here, but they don't pick anyone up. They're just going to leave Zagara down in that bottom lane for the XP.
Gamers2 dedicating this game to the Korean meta, the triple warrior setup, and the pick that we saw afterwards from Nomi was an ETC, and that's a very smart choice for the second warrior if you're going up against such a melee heavy setup. We're talking about 3 warriors plus Rhaegar here. ETC, not only with the mosh pit is he going to have an opportunity to really give those warriors some trouble, but also he has that power slide, he has the phase melt, and those are great utility talents to keep your backline alive. So a very smart pick on the side of Spartanien. The only question is now, can they with this pick really zone enough for the 2 warriors to get that damage in? They also have the more, by the way, later on Zagara to have additional, just like additional disengage in those fights, or a potential setup for a mosh pit.
Yeah, they have a huge amount of potential in terms of wombo, and it's going to be down to Jaina to drop the finishing blow in terms of damage on that. So it's going to be very cool to see how they can do this. For now, though, the first temples are activating, and it looks like, well, we're going to see a death to a Nuburak in the mid lane, which will mean the middle lane temple goes over to Gamers2. Spartanien do hold the top one.
Yeah, and Gamers2 is actually attacking here. Coco is trying to get the blizzard damage in. Let's not forget that later on in the game, with the mosh pit setup, as already pointed out, Coco is going to be the one that has to deliver the most damage, thanks to the blizzard and also the cone of cold. So he will have to deal a lot here. A nice setup here already for Gamers2. I'm liking the aggression with the triple warrior, not only bursting down Frieza on an Nuburak, but also making sure that that wall falls. We have on level 4 now Frozen Wastes taken for the mana reduction on Arthur's Frozen Tempest, and that could lead us into a level 13 talent for him as well. Coco actually low and gets taken out here. Yuvu was already moving in to secure the kill, but he didn't even have to utilize his skeleton swing for that.
Yeah, very nice zombie wall from Bashek there, locking it down the Jaina. They're now trying to do some damage to Frieza and take down this fort. The fort, final shots from the temple will finish that. Yep, there we go, final shot gets it.
And up to the top lane, there's also a few shots against the fort up here, but you can already tell that Gamers2 is starting to secure themselves a leading experience. As mentioned before, that level 4 talent for, well, nice zoning here. Great wall of zombie to block the escape path, and now Zagara is taken out as well. That's a big problem that Spartanien has right now. They have a lineup that can really deal with the triple warrior, at least in theory, but they are losing too many heroes at this point. They lost 3 heroes already, and especially the kill on Zagara was not really necessary. A bit too far out here, and maybe not the perfect communication that they need to work against this setup. But Arthur's finally taken out, so the first kill for Spartanien. That's exactly what they need, starting a comeback here at the top lane.
Yeah, they're going to start pushing this top lane as much as they can to try and counter the harassment that they are getting from Gamers2 here. Looks like they may get this for Yuva coming up, but he is on his own here. Rhaegar and the Arthurs are on the way. Yuva getting a nice drain onto Coco here, but they're unlikely to get a kill, but they've at least stopped the push.
One of the great things, of course, that Gamers2 has here as well is wave clear. On Leoric, on Johanna, on all of the other heroes as well. We're having Bashik up at the bot lane, who can do that too. So this is something that Spartanien has to somehow deal with. I'm loving the Snowstorm talent, by the way, on Jaina in this case. She went on level 1 for Conjurer's Pursuit so that she did not have to go into Arcane Intellect on level 4. And Snowstorm is going to help a lot. That increased radius against such a melee heavy setup as the Polish team is using here will do a whole lot of damage. We also see interesting talents, by the way, on the side of Rhaegar. Not only going into that level 7 shield, but also Stormcaller on level 4. So now the mana costs are reduced and an increased duration. So he's currently going for a lot of mana reduction talents on level 1 and on level 4. And Rhaegar will be able to spam those out like without end in those team fights later on in the game.
Yeah, heals and shields all the way here. It's a pretty interesting setup that he is going for here. We don't usually see that Stormcaller talent, like you did say.
Yeah, it's pretty new, and I actually like it for this case, but also he will have a lot of Well, he has a lot of like utility when it comes not only to the chain heal, but also that shield. And with the level 7 talent, there's great synergy between level 4 and level 7 for him now. Still a level lead on the side of Gamers2. They root Zagara again. Grulum a bit too far out, but he survives for now. And they are starting to move in. And once again, there's ETC. He went straight for the level 7 talent. That gives him the extra range on his face melt. They're trying to pull Shihu back. And so far, they're doing a decent job with this. The 3 warriors will have a bit of a tough time of really getting the surface area that they need for these fights. And Shihu already backed into a corner. He's down on Arthas. Nomi tries to escape. So does Frieza. A quick heal at the last second from Uther. But it's not enough. A double kill for Gamers2. Can they finish this off? It looks like they will get Uther as well.
Uther finally dropping down. They just let the poison finish him off. And we're seeing Spartanien back away from this. But this does mean this bottom fort is 100% dead. As the shots will go onto it. And the Siege Giants will shoot. It looks like they're just going to kill it off without the shots. And just go back and get them in a sec.
As expected, Ravenous Spirit taken as the level 10 ability. We're seeing Blessed Shield, Ancestral Healing, the March of the Black King. And on Arthur's, it could still be Syndragosa. You can go for the Army of the Dead here, but you have a triple warrior set up, so you don't necessarily need to go into the extra life. The thing is, though, that we expect him to go on level 13 for the extra damage on his Frozen Tempest, so he will give up on a few of the defensive talents that a lot of Arthur's players pick on 13 and 16. So Army of the Dead it is for now, and Shiro is already using it.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of here as quick as possible. He's slowing Nomi, who is chasing him, eating all of his Army of the Dead here. Nomi almost dropping down. Shihu turning around onto Coco. He's 1 versus 3 here. He may get Nomi. He gets Nomi.
Wow. Arthas gets the kill, and now Juve Nika might finish the job. Divine Shield used, but the body blocks. And another kill. Jaina taken out now as well. That Army of the Dead just a bit too strong. And now we have something that I absolutely do not like. I can understand the thought process of Frieza. He's a bit afraid that he might die in these fights, but I think that Locust Swarm is a horrible choice now. You're up against a Ravenous Spirit, and that needs to be interrupted somehow. And the only other hero that they can use for that is ETC, and I highly doubt that he's going to be able to go this deep into the backline.
Yep, he's probably going to be busy, Frieza, tunneling out of there. Like, Frieza does have a talent for this. He has the extended spikes, increasing the maximum range of his Impale by 25%. But that basically leaves that as the only ability that it can be used to deny that Ravenous Spirit, unless he dives in himself, or like you said, unless ETC is going really deep.
He will have a few more hit points with this though, and a bit more sustained during the fights, and I guess that's the main idea here. We're seeing them also with the Ring of Frost. There's a great setup with more Ring of Frost, and of course also the ability to use the Mosh Pit, but Gruum is already chased here. And you can really tell that there's just nobody to lock that down. They're trying to get Leoric now. Gruum is moving away, needs to make sure that he isn't getting attacked. Their Ancestral Healing is keeping Leoric alive, and there's the Divine Shield, and Mosh Pit, that's the chance! And they let 3 dance, it's a party.
But Bashek is just killing off Nomi in the background here. Down goes Nomi. Frieza also going to be dropped here. That dance party doesn't mean much if your assassin is tied up in the back.
One of the big problems was that they didn't apparently communicate it correctly. I'm not quite sure what happened in voice, but you could really tell that Nomi was already getting low. He was about to move back. Suddenly the Divine Shield happens on him, and that's the moment when he hesitated for a second, because he's like, well, now I have the Divine Shield, that's what I need to use my Mosh Pit, and he went in after Divine Shield was applied. But that moment of hesitation that they had, apparently a bit of a miscommunication, already cost them precious seconds that they really needed to get that Mosh Pit in a bit earlier or retreat. Like, they needed to make that decision, and there was a moment of hesitation for them, and that really worked against them in this case. Nomi dies on ETC. The setup in theory is amazing, with the Ring of Frost, with also Divine Shield into Mosh Pit, the Maw, everything works for them, but right now they are not making any moves. It is the Polish team, it is Gamers2 that are dominating game number 2 in this series.
Yeah, I do want to call out that Ring of Frost. It was pretty tough, but like you said, bit of hesitation there on the side of Nomi, bit of miscommunication, and they weren't able to capitalise on it. But overall, really nice job by Coco, just not able to finish it up.
We have now Biting Cold taken level 13, as already mentioned before. If you go for Frozen Waste on level 4, it makes a lot of sense to go for this level 13 talent. This is also one of the reasons why I think we see the Army of the Dead over potential Syndragosa here, since you give up on either the Spell Shield or on Relentless, so you need to keep Arthas alive somehow. You have already a triple warrior setup that helps you with that, but those extra talents are going to be important for you. In this case, it's also the Ice Block that we're seeing. We have still 2 Burning Rages on the side of Johanna on Leoric. Leoric. And at this point, with level 16 versus level 13 Talons, Gamers2 find themselves in a very comfortable place here. And Spartanien needs to play passive and try and soak for as long as they can to hit even Talons.
Yeah, they need to hit even Talons before those next temples spawn, preferably, but they have, well, 3 levels to go on that, about to be 2. But that's going to be very difficult for them to make back. In the meantime, Gamers2 just going to be pushing this top lane. There is still a keep up here, only the bottom lane keep has died so far. So they're just going to try and put some pressure on and try and force Spartanien out of position.
One of the things that we haven't really seen too much yet are coordinated team fights between the two games. Most of the fights that we had so far were like small skirmishes on the map or a team that got flanked in a situation. So, as we already said before, that draft and those abilities that we're seeing for Spartanien in theory work very well against the triple warrior setup, especially with ETC now picking up that level 13 talent that even slows enemies down after a face melt, because it's great against melee heroes, but there's still a talent behind, and this is just really the position in the game that is working against Spartanien. They need to get that extra talent, they don't have it here. If they would fight on even footing, they would have a very good chance in theory to defeat this, but right now, they're struggling, and they're struggling a lot.
Yeah, they need to be able to do something here. For now, Gamers2 are just basically harassing them because there's no objectives left for them to take on the map, so they're just trying to poke the buildings here as much as they can and clear any minion waves that look like they might be pushing back.
Yeah, we currently have Juve also moving in again. There is the attempt now to just like burst through that wall. We have Frieza, Nomi, Coco, Gloom, all of Spartanien is like set up behind this wall. They're trying to get some experience, they're defending, they're waiting for as long as they can. They already lost the keep, so they have to deep push the bot lane. And Nomi is always out there. They need a perfect setup in one of these fights. They need to make sure that they move in, they get the mosh pit, that they are able to use the Ring of Frost together with it, use maybe the Divine Shield to make sure that the mosh pit really goes through and is not interrupted, and then get the damage in to drop a few targets, because it's just not working out for them. They have half a level that they need to soak, and then they will finally have even talents with their opponent.
But they only have 10 seconds to do it until those temples do spawn. And Gamers2 not even going to wait. They're going to try and engage just before that level 16 hits. Try and catch one, but a nice burrow charge there. Does get a Dubrak out. However, Nomi gets rooted, but with no one else there, he will be able to get out.
And Nomi is able to move away here, and Coco is bursting down another wave in the mid lane. At the bot lane, there's also now another Siege Giant camp starting to move in, and that means, of course, that Spartanien has to react to that. They have to take that down. There's no boss on the map now that they could take to counteract that shrine that is claimed at the top, so that temple will go to their opponent. They have to take this one down, and apparently they're going to send Frieza down to take care of it. Another camp has been taken, and we are going to see level 16 hit by Spartanien, which will give them a fighting chance in the next team fight.
But Gamers2, they knew that Spartanien were in that bottom lane, or at least there was an objective down there for them to take. Gamers2 back it out there. The ball lands on 2 members there. It is Leoric and Arthas. Can they get any kind of follow-up? Ring of Frost lands on, well, pretty much no one. Trying to get it. Ravenous Spirit on the back of Brulan. Nice heal from Uther. Will keep alive. The mosh pit catches pretty much everyone, though, but no follow-up again.
There's no follow-up in this case, and that Ravenous Spirit did so much work. It's a triple kill, and Coco is low too. They're going deep for a kill against Frieza now, and they're trying to get Jaina. It's a team wipe, and that could be game. Well, at least for now, Coco keeps himself alive, and Gamers2 is just simply saying, alright, screw Jaina. Well, actually, no, they are still going for her. Alright, hashtag worth it, and they focus on the core. This is a 2-0 victory, ladies and gentlemen. Spartanien taken out by Gamers2, the Polish team successful with a 2-0 here in the round of 8 at the Road to BlizzCon qualifier. Yeah, that doesn't really seem to be Spartanien's day today. Gamers2 takes them down with a 2-0 and making it look easy at that. So they have found their rhythm here for sure. The first game already very dominant by Gamers2, and now in the second game they take down Spartanien as well to finish this with a 2-0. So without even winning a single map, Spartanien now drops into the losers bracket, and Gamers2, they are victorious. They move on to the semi-final of the winner bracket. Still a pretty entertaining series in my personal opinion, because, well, we saw Chen, we saw Raynor, we had a triple warrior set up in game number 1, then another one in game number 2, we saw Infernal Shrines. So pretty awesome series here. Maybe not as close as we would like the series to be, but we saw a lot of heroes, and it was quite a bit of fun to see the teams toy around with that triple warrior combo that is especially popular, of course, in Korea. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the show, and if you did, then make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. You know the drill. If you have any questions about what happened here, and I guess you do, then make sure that you also post a comment in the comment section, and I'm pretty sure somebody can help you out there. And also, if you want to see more Road to BlizzCon action and also enter the Storm, of course, then subscribe to Khaldor TV if you have not done that yet. I'm going to see you next time with more content here on the channel. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.